Warning, the following review contains spoilers.
Social media. I was there when there wasn't any at all. And all those digital platforms were just an abandoned beach. If you wanted to know what people were up to or what dress they wore at a party, you had to actually walk up to them and ask them and say, "Excuse me, what dress did you wear at that party?" And they would regularly reply back to me, "I've never worn a dress in my life, you pervert." Then along came MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat. And now I can finally find if my mate Gary did wear a dress at that party without getting a punch in the mouth for asking. And along with social media came social stupidity. It was inevitable that Doctor Who would tackle the dangers of social media, and this was a wonderful take on that. This episode was touted by Russell T Davies to Stephen Moffat years ago, but it was considered to be too expensive at the time. However, we're able to do it now with today's modern technology, better and cheaper. It was weird to have another Doctor-like episode after 73 Yards. However, I wonder if the amazing 73 Yards just needed to be followed up by another strong story, which this was. It definitely has that Black Mirror vibe about it, which isn't a bad thing, particularly the episode Nosedive, where society lives in a world where everyone puts their life on social media to get the highest ratings possible. Dot and Bubble follows a similar premise, where young, beautiful people living in a city called Fine Time, where they complain about having to do work for 2 hours a day, and they spend the rest of their time immersed in social media, created by a mechanical dot which projects a bubble around their heads. They're so immersed in that bubble, they need the bubble to even tell them which way to walk. Loads of positives to say about this episode. Cali Cooke, from the very funny and very silly Henpocalypse, was absolutely fantastic, and she owned that episode. She held the whole story perfectly, and even though she was utterly vacuous as a character, we were somehow still concerned for her and wanted her desperately to escape, until obviously she turned it around with that killer blow at the end. But all in all, she was absolutely stunning. I look forward to seeing her in other shows and films. Slugs, great. Up there with the Yetis and the Slovene. It's good to have a good scary monster, something for the small children to hide behind the couch. Really like the Ricky character. I love the way Ricky went from like vacuous social media character to likeable, brilliant hero, just to have him executed by someone who claimed to hero worship him. And that version of Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini was an inspired choice of a pointless throwaway song that, and what I loved about it was Ricky didn't really seem to do anything apart from just like mince about a little bit while the track was playing. I have to say, I wasn't too impressed about the way the Dot killed Ricky. I felt at this point the show was kind of having its cake and eating it. Basically everyone's getting eaten by slugs, which was great, but we didn't really never get to know why they were really there in the first place. And then for no reason, Ricky gets killed by the Dot. Now I felt that was kind of a happy dose of sort of Deus ex machina, where, it's a Latin term which translates to like God from the machine. It originates from ancient Greek theatre, where a god character would be lowered onto the stage via a crane, and they'd solve like an unsolvable problem just right at the end, for a convenient solution.
Oh no, how will we ever get back to Bikini Bottom now?
I can take you there.
Who are you?
I'm David Hasselhoff.
Hooray! So where's your boat?
Boat?
Go, Hasselhoff!
Like in modern storytelling, Deus ex machina it's like criticised as lazy story writing, and instead of arising organically from the character, the theme, or the plot, the resolution is kind of imposed out of nowhere. The plot suddenly gets solved out of absolutely nowhere, leaving the audience kind of feeling cheated or like disconnected. Saying that, I was not expecting that ending. That ending was bleak and brutal. I haven't seen it ending as bleak and brutal as that since Earthshock, or the time when I realised they were actually serious about the third-rate Dick Dastardly was actually going to be the master and it wasn't some kind of cruel April Fool joke.
I don't think so.
I read many comments on social media straight afterwards, and many comments were saying things like, well, if they don't want help, then they shouldn't help them. I wouldn't do that. I myself had this same thought, but maybe that's what makes the Doctor. And it's only expanded further by Ncuti's stunning performance at the end, that frustration he had. And I felt myself like, as for Ricky, how would he have felt about Lindy Pepperbean's reaction to the Doctor? He'd been out his bubble, he'd read books, I think he would have decided to go with the Doctor, maybe even become a new assistant, and perhaps that could have made them all see the error of their ways. Perhaps not. All in all, another strong episode. I look forward to you tuning in very soon for my review of Rogue. Agree or disagree? Please leave your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.